At the end of the day, I found myself somehow both tired and absolutely wired, not ready to go to sleep, but not trying to do anything too demanding or crazy. I'm a big fan of ASMR videos and relaxing content, and I love me a cozy game, but I find that a lot of cozy games are either a little too boring for my taste, where your choices don't really impact the game at all, or they're too interesting and I don't want to stop playing, so I never freaking go to sleep. So, how do I solve that problem for myself? There are a bunch of ways I could have solved that, and I chose to make a video game, which is maybe the hardest solution I could have chosen, but I love making games, so sue me, Jesus. So, what is that game and what does it do? The game is called Grove, and it's a relaxing experience, at least I hope, that I made to ramp out of my device at the end of the game. And it is a game. It's a tower defense game with a little bit of agency and plot and tension. It's also a sandbox game where you get to design a forest for yourself. It's sort of an idle wallpaper at times in the way I designed it to rotate and screenshot, and it's a form of therapy for myself. Why is this important? Common wisdom would probably say just turn off the screen, go to bed. But I find it really hard to turn off and just do nothing cold turkey after a day of being at my desk, maybe overstimulated. And so I wanted something to help me wind down and ramp off, a sort of digital permission to begin turning my brain off for the day. We are increasingly tied to our devices, our phones, our laptops, whatever it may be, and we need better solutions to address all the side effects that come with it. The boredom and the mental fatigue and the overstimulation, yada yada yada, because we are finding there are many a side effect to this increasing utilization of technology. Yes, there are totally other applications that do this and look to do this, but I wanted to try my hand at a solution. I don't want to, what's that quote from Elastigirl? I don't want to leave the saving of the world to the men. I don't think so. Even though I am a man, ignore that bit. I want to have some agency. I want to, I'm a creator. I want to give it a go. So, everything you've been watching so far, I think, or a lot of it, has been footage from the game. So how did I design the game to be relaxing? What did I do to sort of help facilitate that? I did a few things. One, I made sure to avoid as much blue light as I thought was stylistically possible, because I know that science has shown that blue light makes you stay awake for longer. It sort of disrupts your circadian rhythm, I think, maybe, is science. And so I tried to avoid blue light where I could. Two, I wanted to create a gameplay loop that was no longer than 20 minutes, because I don't want the player to be at their computer for another hour if I'm trying to let them wind down and relax. So I tested a 20-ish minute gameplay loop for winding down with a peaceful mode, so you can go crazy in the peaceful mode, but 20-ish minutes was my goal. 3, all of the audio and the sound effects are synced up to an internal metronome in the game that lines up with the music, because those sort of rhythmic, hypnotic audio experiences have been shown to help facilitate sleep and relaxation. Think like counting sheep as you go to bed. Other games that do this, like Melatonin, where you're trying to rhythmically match up to the game, that for some reason helps you relax. And 4, and this maybe is the strangest one, the one that doesn't feel intuitive, but I promise it was intentional, and that is creating a game with a little bit of tension. So this is a tower defense game. People come and lay siege to your forest. That might sound stressful and like that won't help me go to sleep. But I built it as a cycle of tension and release. So these lumberjacks come and they lay siege, but it isn't too incredibly challenging to keep your forest alive, and every round a storm comes through and washes the lumberjacks away and heals your trees. So there is this cycle of tension and release that mimics meditation techniques, where you have to, tense your muscles and release them. And in that release, you're able to find a sort of deeper relaxation than you were previously. So those were 4 techniques that I used to hopefully make this game a little bit relaxing. Hopefully, I pray, a little bit relaxing at the end of the day. And I did actually win the game jam that I submitted this to back when it wasn't quite as robust. Similar gameplay, but I added just some polish to it since then. And all of the feedback was, oh my god, this is so relaxing. Oh, this makes me want a cup of tea. This makes me want to, like, wind down. And oh, I come back to this and I play it to help calm me down, which was so freaking gratifying to hear as a game developer. That's all I want to do, is I want to make something that other people enjoy and find value in. That's like magic to my ears. Magic to my ears? That's not the saying. Who cares? Magic to my ears it is. Some stuff that I cut that is not in this game. I did originally add a first-person mode where you could play as a bird or a squirrel in the forest, but it was looking kind of funky and it wasn't going in a direction that I thought facilitated what I wanted it to do. Oh, and I wasn't sure if that was something anyone would be interested in. So I cut it. It does exist somewhere in the code. I've just sort of turned it off. And I originally had the ability to save forests you had built, but that system was giving me a headache, and I figured it might work better as sort of a mandala that people create and they wipe clean each time they play. I don't know if players have a preference over if they want to, like, be able to save all the forests they've made or not, but let me run you through just a little bit of the gameplay. So, the game starts and you have one single tree, and you have enough money to plant 2 more trees if you choose, or you can just have the one stand alone, and it's an oak tree. At least that's what I call it. When you start a round, after you plant trees or not plant trees, some lumberjacks will come and your tree will fire little acorns at them to defend themselves. And the lumberjacks have a certain amount of health, they fall. Hopefully no lumberjacks make it close enough to cut down a tree. And then once all the lumberjacks of that round have been slain, a storm comes in, washes everything away, your trees regain a certain amount of health, and you have more tree money. I wasn't sure how to make tree money, if that was like seeds or whatever. So for right now, it's just sort of general nature currency. You have to plant more trees, and each level you unlock something new. So on level 2, you unlock the maple tree, which heals trees around it. From the very beginning, you're able to plant flowers for free, because why would I charge you for that? That is just too fun to gatekeep behind nature currency, so plant as many flowers as you wish. Each round follows a similar cycle. Round 3, you unlock a pine tree, and then from rounds 4 onward, you start unlocking upgrades for those trees that increase their range, or increase their healing or damage and such. Eventually, a harder enemy is introduced, and that's the bulldozer. Oh, the pine tree. Pine tree does area damage, so it will damage all lumberjacks in an area where the pine cone lands. So yeah, you unlock trees, and then eventually once you've unlocked all the tree offerings, you unlock peaceful mode, which lets you design a grove peacefully with no currency, with everything you've unlocked. Just go at it and enjoy making a forest of your own choosing. So this is currently a demo on Steam right now. The content is there for maybe a 20-minute playthrough. I could understand how it would get boring if you played it again and again, and so I would love to add more content. Like, oh, would it be fun to add birds, or like a deer that you can place and wanders through your grove, or like other animals, or like a creek, you could draw a creek through the grove, and like boulders and bushes, and do more landscaping type stuff. But all of that takes a lot of time, and as a solo developer who is yet to have any commercially viable game, I'm definitely sort of bouncing from game idea to game idea just to see what people enjoy and what has a little bit of interest and juice, and so I'm not 100% sure if this is that game, if this is where I want to devote my energy. Other games I'm working on include You Shall Not Pass, which is a game where you play as a wizard and herd sheep, and it's sort of a guilty pleasure game where after years of development, it still is not commercially viable, but I just love working on it, so I keep coming back to it. And I'm really trying to get into multiplayer games, so I have a few games that I'm beginning to explore as multiplayer content. Anyway, all that to say, there's a lot I want to do with this game, but I just don't know if I will have the time while I continue to explore game concepts and see what people are interested in. Anyway, if this does interest you, you can find it on Steam as a demo, totally free right now, free to download, free to play, and I hope it brings you just a little bit of peace. probably should have filmed this as an ASMR video. Maybe I'll do another one of those later. Okay, thanks for watching, and happy gaming.